This is Tired Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys are having a good Tuesday for the most part. I think a lot of you have, minus the heat, but we have some matters to talk about on here today. It's not the normal severe weather topics that we normally are going over, the hail, tornado, and wind threat here. As you can see, we have marginal risk for severe weather today. Oh, wait, what in the world? Actually, this is my first time seeing this, but we've had 13 tornado reports. That's interesting. Let me take a look at this. Oh, they're all clustered up in Colorado and Nebraska today. I think that number is actually gonna go down. If it's not, that's crazy. But that just lets you know right there. Even if it's a marginal risk, you never know what can happen. But actually, this is not the main topic for the day on this channel. The main topic for today is actually flooding. We've had some major historic flooding actually going on in St. Louis earlier today, and there is still a very significant flood threat that's existing for a couple of different areas here. So we're gonna go ahead and go into detail with that here. We do have a few other marginal risks, but they're really not. I guess maybe I should talk about them. If you want a secondary video, I guess just let me know in the comments. If you don't, then we'll just go on with what I have planned. But yeah, that was a surprise. It's going up now. It's 14. It's going up as we speak. What is going on here? That's crazy. As you can see here, we also have this monsoonal flow, and this is actually where we're going to be one of the areas that we're going to be talking about here for some more significant flooding. It is monsoon season around the Four Corners region of the country, so this isn't entirely unexpected, but there is a slightly greater than normal flood threat for a couple of different areas. So we're actually going to move away from this map, and we're going to go to a map that I rarely use, and that is the excessive rainfall outlook. And this kind of works just like our traditional severe weather map that we see on the Storm Prediction Center, but this is measuring more or less the likelihood of excessive rainfall, of course, hence the name, and flash flooding. And the color coding is essentially the same, minus the enhanced risk. We have a marginal risk, a slight risk, a moderate risk, and a high risk. And as you can see here, we're looking at day 1, and this is more or less going into tomorrow, I think, at this point. But on this day 1 outlook here, you can see towards western Arizona, we have a spot where we have a moderate risk, which is a 40% chance at minimum of there being excessive rainfall here. And then we have a secondary moderate risk towards the Ohio Valley. So, and this is an area that's been hit before, but basically the story is the same with both of these areas. The setup is going to be boatload of thunderstorms training in one behind the other. So basically it's just like basically picture you're driving out on the road and you're next to train tracks and you see a train go by and you see main locomotive and then one car go right after the other. That's basically what these storms are going to be doing in these areas particularly, and these storms will have pretty significant rainfall rates that may very well exceed an inch, 2 inch, maybe even 2 inches an hour or more. And imagine having these storms come through one after another. The ground gets saturated very quickly, especially in this area too that's had a lot of rainfall over the last few weeks or so. So the ground was already ripe in this area. So unfortunately, it's not surprising here. It wasn't surprising in St. Louis because there's been a lot of active weather around this part of the country. And the same can be said for around here. This is a slight risk. This moderate risk right here that's in the Four Corners region could be getting bigger, but we'll have to wait and see. But this will move around as well, I believe. But we even have the slight risk kind of pushing its way down into Tennessee. We have Kentucky involved as well. We have a slight risk pushing. Still, we have St. Louis involved in this, unfortunately, so we'll have to keep watching you guys really closely over there. and the same can be said for all parts of the Four Corners region, and we even have Nevada in there as well, and parts of far southeastern California. So we're gonna go to day 2 now. Actually, we'll let this load if it's at all possible. Okay, so this is day 2. Day 2, we're basically picking up more so on the threat more to the east. And we have yet another big day of potential flash flooding. This time the threat moves a little further east. We have more of West Virginia involved. We have the city of Charleston even involved. So we'll have to be watchful. You guys, if there's anyone out here that's camping in the Monongahela National Forest or any of the national forests within central West Virginia, you guys might need to be really watchful of the weather, because I feel like things are going to happen very quickly around this region. Within the next 24 hours, things are going to progress and flooding will be pretty rapid. I think this is definitely painting a picture of a flash flood type scenario. The same can be said for parts of eastern Kentucky. Anywhere south of Frankfort, you need to be watchful. I mean, of course, we have our slight risk here that stretches all the way back towards St. Louis, mainly south of you guys. The threat level for you guys is going down, thankfully. But you're still in a marginal risk. We're going to have to watch you really close. But almost all of north and central Tennessee, you guys are going to have to be watchful. This includes Nashville and Knoxville. You guys are going to have to be careful on the roadways, in the national parks, in the mountains. Just be watchful of changing conditions, because like I said, the same thing for West Virginia can happen here. So I expect conditions to deteriorate pretty quickly. Alright, so now that we've seen that, we do have a big slight risk area. I do think that there's room for a moderate risk to pop up, and I think it will be a little bit further east. I do think this kind of will be a little bit further centered towards maybe northeastern Arizona, may stretch into New Mexico as well. We'll see what National Weather Service does with this. So let's go to day 3. Okay, here we are. And on day 3, things continue to stretch further to the north and east. Now to well off to the south of Denver, but towards, is that the Arkansas River apparently, or stream or whatever? But just to the east of Pueblo, Colorado, that's where our new moderate risk is for day 3. So this is for Friday. And basically the same thing that I was discussing with West Virginia, same thing is possible here. Slight risk is a little bit smaller than what I remembered when I looked earlier today, but other big cities in play include Denver, Santa Fe, and then we also have parts of the Panhandle regions of Oklahoma and Texas. We'll have to watch you guys as well, and this also stretches its way into western Kansas. You guys will have to be on the lookout for some increased flash flood activity. Alright, and then once we go back here, Kentucky, you guys are in the bullseye once again. Same thing with Charleston as well. And now this flood threat is unfortunately shifting back to the west, as well as extending to the north and east. Almost the entire state of, pretty much the entire state of West Virginia is in play for an excessive rainfall threat, especially towards the southern parts of West Virginia. Charleston, once again, you guys are in play for that. And now the moderate risk is stretched into Frankfort. Louisville, you're just outside of it, but this could easily change and end up including you guys as well. Other than that, you guys are at a slight risk for the moment. We have Nashville as well. St. Louis, you're just outside the slight risk, but it is trying to creep its way back towards you, so be on the lookout once more. At this point, with the amount of rainfall that we've had, it doesn't seem like it's going to take much. And also anywhere in the Ozark Plateau, you guys are going to have to be watchful for the threat of excessive rainfall and flash flooding. Alright, so now we've looked at these 3 days, let's kind of look at the parameters we have here for this. There isn't really much to look at, so this is going to be relatively quick here. When we look at the dew points right now, though, I mean, around this part of the world, it's oppressive. That's really just the best way to describe it. We're sitting at 60 and 70 degree dew points, which is unheard of, and it even lasts into the overnight. It's just not going anywhere. And then around the Four Corners region, especially around Arizona, that's our main area of concern over the next 24 hours. And right around our flood threat region, just look at that. We're getting into the mid-70s on dew points. Just absolutely insane. And even when we get into the overnight, these dew points don't drop. At times, it's almost as if they increase. So we're gonna have to be really watchful in the coming days. And then we can see this plume of moisture starting to build back to the west, and also try to push to the east as well. So this is kind of concerning. Arizona, I do think you guys will have yet another moderate risk around, maybe even around southern Arizona as well. It's crazy. I mean, this is good rainfall because this area had been getting hit pretty hard with wildfires at one point, but sometimes it can be too much of a good thing, and this might be very well be the case here. So we go into Saturday, and this flash flood threat may very well transition to the south and east as well. We'll have to keep a close eye on it. If there's any updates I need to give on this, I'll be making more videos, but things are still pretty active here right now. Let's go ahead and look at what the radar could look like over the next few days. Let's kind of get an idea of who's at the highest risk right now and the areas we may need to watch coming into the weekend. We're just waiting on this to finish loading. Alright, here we go. Like I said, storms training around the Missouri and Ohio valleys. No surprises there. And then our monsoonal flow around the Four Corners region. Yeah, I can honestly say that this threat pushes a little bit further south. I think this, as of right now, might end up sparing areas like Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. This could quickly change. The way this low is moving, you can never tell. And of course, we always have the threat of these little tropical systems that are forming on the edge of that. So there's a lot of other variables we may have to be taking a look at here. So this is going to be a tricky forecast, because this could make a world of difference between who gets what kind of rainfall. Speaking of rainfall, let's go ahead and take a look at the quantitative precipitation here within the next couple of days. Well, not the quantitative, actually, we're going to precipitable water. So basically, this is what we could be facing over the course of the week. The darker the color, the brighter the color, the darker and the brighter the color, I should say, the heavier the rainfall amount. Once you get into the blues and beyond, as it gets lighter, that's usually the most heavier rain. That's where the heaviest of rainfall is likely. Move this along, and you can just see some of our most bright colors are right around our areas of concern. So far, excuse me. So far, it looks like for the monsoonal region, Four Corners, I'm leaning towards more southern Arizona being like a big winner as far as the rainfall totals. And then of course, right around here is going to be where our grand totals are going to be, where we're going to get like a really big grand total around here. When we go to Friday, this tries to work its way to the south and east. So if we do get storms around here, this could get pretty messy around here as well. It's going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds. I may make another video about this within the next day or two. But definitely a lot of interesting things going on right here with this. It's no rest for the wicked. But hey, that's how we like it here, I guess. All I can say is to anyone in these areas, please stay safe. I'll do what I can to keep putting updates out here. But until the next video, this has been Tire Metalhead Weatherman. Again, you guys stay safe. Y'all have a good one. I will see you in the next one.